Welcome to the maiden voyage, the very first edition of Ski-U-Mah Weekly, presented by the Minnesota Lottery. We're going to be here on the Minnesota Sports Facebook page every single Monday through the academic and athletic year. Right here, right around noon, give or take noon, we should be here, so we thank you for joining us. My name is Justin Gaard. I work for KFAN Radio, also the sideline reporter for the Gopher Football Radio Network. And you may know the guy to my immediate left, your immediate right. He's the head football coach. His name is PJ Fleck. How's it going, Coach?
It's going elite, thanks.
The best part about this show for the people watching is very little of me, a lot of them, and a lot of you. The way the Facebook format works, if you remember it from a year ago, is you can post comments. We're going to try to get to as many of them as we can as the show goes on. We've got Coach for 10 or 15 minutes, and one of the comments will be selected for the Minnesota Lottery prize pack, which is right here. I can show it to you right here. Someone will win this a little bit later today. So
get a big bag of money.
It's a big bag of money. You don't win the Powerball. I don't know. Maybe it is. But get your comments in. We're going to get to those in a little bit. But first, just your general thoughts. We just spent some time in Oregon, in Corvallis to be more specific, playing the Beavers. What did you take away from that game?
Well, I was proud of our players. I thought we made a lot of adjustments and a lot of changes from game one to game two. And I thought the things that we didn't do particularly well in game one, that we didn't take advantage of, we took advantage of it, and you saw the difference in the score. I'll never be interested in the result, the win or the loss. I never will be. Because that's a byproduct of your process, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, we were able to win the turnover battle, +2. Last week we were even, and the score was really close. We were +2 this week, and the score wasn't close. If you can be in that plus area, you have a better shot of always winning. We wanted to run the football, and we did. 253 yards rushing versus 80 for them. And we wanted to stop the run on defense. I thought our defense played obsessed at times in terms of the run and the swarm. And then the time of possession was really key. 38 minutes for us, I think it was 22 minutes for them. Those are keys to the game, and those are the difference in the game that we didn't do particularly well in game one, that we did well in game two. And then the last would be, we said from week one, we wanted to be able to win first and second down to set up more manageable third downs, which we did. We were 9 of 13 on third down, and they were 3 of 11. So when you start talking about why teams win, that's why teams win, because it's the process. You do it better than the other opponent. So that's kind of where we're at. You
made a little bit of news earlier today, kind of announcing that Rota will be the starting quarterback for Middle Tennessee. You've said all camp you want someone that's going to take that job and say that it's mine. You must have felt like Connor's done that.
Yeah, I thought he earned it. I thought he earned it in the leadership role. I think he's really developed the most in terms of that characteristic. And as a head football coach, you want to make sure that guy is the best leader that you have. And I think that's what separated himself. You know, we haven't had a 55 pass day where you said, well, it was just so he drew for 550 yards, that's easy. But I think the leadership has set him apart, and I'm really proud of him. That does not mean he'll take every snap, but he is going to be our starting quarterback, and I feel very comfortable with him running our offense.
Last question for me here coming up. Don't forget, put the questions there in the comments section. We'll get to those in just a minute. You've got Middle Tennessee State back here at TCF Bank Stadium on Saturday, 2:30 kickoff. What should we know about the Blue Raiders?
Well, they're a dynamic offense. They can run, they can throw it. Their quarterback is a 4-year starter. Their best receiver, who they'll both play in the NFL next year, I think. James, his last name is. He's a phenomenal player. They are a very explosive offense. They've got athletes all over the place. Defensively, Scott Shafer, who used to coach me in college, he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the entire country. He went to Middle Tennessee State after leaving Syracuse as the head football coach. And so he runs a very, very complex defensive scheme, whether it's out of his odd package or whether it's his even package. Probably talking Chinese to everybody else. They don't understand what I'm talking about. But it's the ability to run on defense. They've got athletes. They're faster than what we've seen. They might be a little bit smaller at different positions, but they all can fly and run. And then the special teams, they do a great job of bridging that gap. Very, very experienced team. Lots of seniors on this team that have played a lot of football. And we know them pretty well from a few years ago. We played them at Western Michigan when they were in the Bahamas Bowl, but that has nothing to do with right now.
You mentioned you haven't had the 55 pass play day yet. I think that's kind of where Bill wants to go in our first Facebook question of the day. Bill says, Coach, talk about balancing the offense with more pass plays up the field, perhaps to stretch the field.
Well, we have thrown balls down the field, but we're going to do what we have to do to win the football game. It's very simple. And there's never going to... You're not going to make everybody happy in how you're able to win those football games. If we have to throw it so many times, that's fine. But if we can be balanced, that's what our offense wants to be. If you watch the first half, I think we're incredibly balanced, right? And then you get to the second half. Remember, I come from a Jim Tressel type tree. When you have that, now the object is to keep that lead, and if you have confidence in your defense and their defense is playing well, then you can stick to the run. And if the run's working, and you run for 253 yards, well, that's where it's going to swing. But as you start to get to a lot tighter games, you're going to have to be balanced at times, and I get that. We have been. The great thing is you can keep pulling from past history from this staff and from my offenses in the past. So please do that, because we were very, I think we're 51-49 at Western Michigan, 50-50, 49-51. And we'll continue to do that as our offense evolves and we continue to get more players involved in our offense and through recruiting and development over the course of the next few years.
One way to definitely stretch the field is just give it to Tyler Johnson like 30 yards down the field and let him run the rest of the way. That seems to have worked out, in the first couple of games, right?
Yeah, and we need more people to step up. We need more people to be involved. And that's not just in terms of we're not getting them involved. They have to earn the right to be involved too, and that's what we have to do through development of our players we have now, but also time in terms of recruiting. And as we start to recruit, I think more and more people are going to see that type of explosive athlete coming in here at the wide receiver position.
You're wearing blue pants. Eric wants to talk about the white helmets, though.
These are my Sid pants, Sid Hartman pants.
The white helmets that you broke out. How did you decide to break those out on Saturday, and will there be any other uniform surprises this season?
There'll always be uniform surprises, I promise you. We'll all stay within the confines of our culture and our tradition. There's going to be some things next year in the year that's some significant changes. We're going to have a lot of the same color schemes and a lot of the jerseys we wore last year with some different twists. One of those twists being this week, which I won't tell you about, but we'll have that out here very soon, maybe tomorrow.
Stay tuned on all the social media, Gopher football social media accounts. I'm sure they will be released there. Sue has a question with the no-huddle. How is the snap count determined and then changed? Also, two-part question. When quarterback, wide receiver, and running back look to the sidelines, how do the linemen know what the play is since they aren't looking? I never thought of that before, Sue. Good thinking.
Sue, I can't tell you all the secrets now. Now, if I tell you, then everybody knows. No, I'm kidding. The no-huddle snap count, there's a lot of ways of going through that. We have about 7 different snap counts we can go on. You saw in the Oregon State game that we used a clap. That's for noise. It was pretty loud in Corvallis, and I think there was about 40,000 people there, yes. But a lot of times in Oregon, they have these rooftops that go over the top of the top deck, so there are 3 decks up, but then there's this top because it rains so much that it protects everybody, and that's when everybody gets loud, the noise hits that and reflects right back down the field. So we have a silent clap, we call it, and you can clap 1, 2, 3 times. We have a bunch of those. And then when you're talking about the linemen, the quarterback gives the call to them. You'll always see the quarterback check to the sideline. First thing he does is run up to the offensive line, give them the call, then get back and be ready. Everybody else has it from the signal. There's a lot of fake signals out there. There's a lot of things that don't mean things. We have these big cards that will hold up. Those mean things at times. Sometimes they don't mean something. So it's constant change where nobody can get a beat on what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Thanks, everybody, for the questions. A reminder, we'll select one of those at the end to be our Minnesota Lottery question of the day. Last thing for me, for Coach Fleck, we'll let him get out of here. Late game, late night, early morning, long travel. We talked about all that last week. So how do you bounce back then and make sure everybody's ready to go now for just kind of your run-of-the-mill 2:30 Saturday game, right?
Yeah, we don't allow the circumstance to dictate our behavior. We were very prepared. We were prepared on the way home. Players had the exact amount they should sleep on the plane on the way home, and then when they got home, when to go to bed, when to sleep till, and then also we got them in bed at a very early hour last night and didn't practice them like we normally would, but they had a lift where they were able to run and then get them to bed at a very early time. So that's what we're doing to catch up on it. They're catching up today on their day off as well with a lot of preparation. And then tomorrow we should be right back to our normal schedule and feeling like our normal selves.
Congratulations on 2-0, and we'll see you. Welcome back to Ski-U-Mah Weekly, presented by the Minnesota Lottery. We just talked a little bit of football. Now we're going to talk to some defending Big Ten champions. You may remember that the women's soccer program here at the U won the Big Ten last season, and they've just wrapped up non-conference play and are headed to Wisconsin a little bit later this weekend. And I'm happy to be joined by Tori Burnett and Kelly McGann. Thanks for joining me, guys. What's going on?
Not much. How's it going with you?
We're doing okay. Well, I'm doing elite. Coach Fleck is still in here somewhere, so I have to say that I'm doing elite. But first of all, let's talk about just last year when you guys win the Big Ten to then moving on to this year. Is it more of a defending the Big Ten title, or is it like chasing another one? How do you guys view that?
I think it's defending it. I think that's how we view ourselves is, you know, we did really well last year. We had a lot of really good players last year. We graduated a lot of them, but we're still trying to fill those shoes, and I think we're doing a really good job thus far through the season. And now we get to defend. We get to come back and show everybody it's still our trophy. Speaking
of defending, you guys do that pretty well. You did that a year ago. Well, you were setting records for goals against and shots on goal and all that. I think 3 goals given up in the non-conference, maybe the fewest shots on goal that's ever been given up through 7. What would you say is the key to that so far?
She's the defender, but
I'm asking you as the forward because you see it all. No,
I see
well, I'm asking both of you.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Do you want to take this one? Or
you guys defend too.
I know.
It's a team effort.
It is a team effort, but I guess it all starts from the press, which is the forwards kind of making sure that everything is going smoothly. If we get cut or anything, it kind of puts everyone else on their heels. It starts there, but it definitely ends with the backs, just making sure that there's not even like a shot on goal. They're all positioned right. And then our goalkeeper just keeping things out of the net, I guess.
Mm-hmm. We're really veteran this year.
Yeah.
Then we have 3 returning backs, and our 4th back is a junior, so she knows what she's doing. We communicate really well, and we all are on the same page most of the time, and so it just really helps that all 11 of us on the field can communicate well and just keep shots away.
How do you guys feel like through non-conference? Like, are you where you want to be moving into the conference season? Obviously, everybody knows it's the border battle this Saturday, which I'm sure is important, but do you feel like you guys are where you need to be entering conference play?
I feel like we are. Our coach is talking about how our last game of the non-conference is kind of like the last chapter of like a 3-chapter book or whatever, and she was saying that we want to end it on a good note, and we definitely did with the 5-0 win. So to have that momentum going into Big Ten, and especially a border battle as big as Wisconsin, it's good that we have kind of that chapter done, but to focus on the next. So ending that chapter on a good note and getting the next one to end on the same note.
Last thing for me, and either one of you can answer this, I see the hashtag Take the Stairs everywhere when it comes to soccer. What is Take the Stairs? What does it mean, and how do you bring that into day-to-day?
That's our coach's 5-part mantra of how we can seize our opportunities and do the best. We actually just got a brand new wrap around our locker room that has all the words: opportunity, selflessness, mentality.
And then
there's 2 more.
We'll see if you can get these.
Yeah.
This is a quiz. Hopefully
Yeah,
coaches
no.
are watching.
Hopefully
Opportunity,
not.
selflessness.
Mentality, preparation, opportunity.
These aren't in order.
Yeah, those are not in
4
order.
stairs, but
4 stairs that leads you to
Selflessness.
opportunity.
yes.
Yeah.
You guys sound vaguely confident about
I
all of
know.
that.
It's
It's
around.
Yeah,
I promise.
I believe
it leads to opportunity.
So-
it leads
selflessness,
elevate.
mentality.
Elevate.
was the last one.
We
We
knew-
have to elevate our play.
We knew we would get there.
Yeah, we got it.
So what do we need to know about the Badgers this weekend as you kick off Big Ten play?
They don't have Rose Lavelle anymore, which is great for everybody. But they do have a few up-and-coming freshmen. They're looking pretty good. They have a fifth-year senior goalkeeper who's really hard to get past. And it's going to be in Madison, which is always a tough place to play. But we're really ready for it. You know, Kelly and I we haven't beat them in our careers. So it's time. We get some vengeance going on. We're going to take it to them.
All right. Well, Tori and Kelly, thanks for joining us here. This is the first edition of Ski-U-Mah Weekly, so you should feel honored by that.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
thank
having
you.
us.
Thanks for joining us. If you guys want to watch that game, it's 4 o'clock on Saturday. You can watch it on BTN+. Their home opener in conference play is Thursday night against Michigan. You can watch that on the Big Ten Network. So for all of us here at Ski-U-Mah Weekly, a quick reminder that we'll be here every single Monday right around noon, presented by the Minnesota Lottery. We thank you for watching this week, and we will be here basically through the entire academic and athletic year. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next Monday.